Hello, Rachel. Thanks for joining us today and sharing your experience with your wonderful space with our other customers. I know they're going to find it really useful. Can you tell us a little bit about your project? If you cast your mind back the couple of years or a few years when this was just an idea.
Sure. So the room that I'm sitting in at the moment is an extension that we had built onto our house in around 2019. And planning restrictions meant that we couldn't put a window into the side of the building. So you can see a very large roof lantern behind me, which is basically the only source of light into this room. But it is quite large. It's nearly 4 meters long and over 2.5 meters wide. So obviously we were looking for some sort of solution to block out some light, provide some shade against the sun. Initially, we went for honeycomb style blinds, the type that basically are on cables across the roof lantern. Unfortunately, although those worked initially, within a year they were sagging quite badly because of the weight of the blinds and the tension. So that sort of produced, not only did it not look aesthetically that great, but also it produced big gaps in the window where the sun could still get through and the light could still get through. So we had sort of problems with the room being too warm. When the blinds were drawn, it was very dark. So it was either sort of dark and quite cool, or not dark and extremely hot, with a lot of glare onto the television, which made it difficult to use. So really, it sort of created a situation where the room wasn't fit for purpose. So earlier this year, I sort of started looking for a different solution to replace those honeycomb blinds, and that brought me to Window Treat.
Well, lovely. And so you met Chris, who's our specialist in roof lantern blinds, and he tell us about that journey, what that process was like for you.
Sure. I mean, to be honest, I came across Window Treat just from an internet search, and I had found a couple of other companies that also did electric roof blinds. But the thing that sort of attracted me to Window Treat, it was a more comprehensive service. So particularly in terms of the measurements, I wasn't comfortable investing a lot of money in a product that I was expected to sort of measure for myself and was just going to arrive on my doorstep from the factory. What I liked about Window Treat was there was an initial consultation with Chris. So I sent him some information, really just outlining what I've just told you, by email. We then had a Zoom call where he's talked me through all the options that Window Treat was able to provide, explained about the different types of fabric, different types of blind, the different tensions, and basically also provided me with a really useful PowerPoint presentation that I was able to look at afterwards to make a final decision.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm sure Chris would be happy to hear that. So you decided to go with a metallized fabric on a sort of large roller blind. And when you think, if you compare it with, say, the honeycomb solution, what are the main differences you've found? I know you've got a TV in there. We probably haven't had a heat wave yet in Sunny Pool, but coming. And so how have you found the blind so far?
It's just like a different world. First of all, because it's electric, it's just push button to roll it out, as opposed to having to kind of get a pole and line it up with the hooks and drag the blind across the window opening as you have to with a honeycomb blind. So the electric motor is fantastic just from an ease of use point of view. It cuts the glare out really well. As you say, we are sort of in early spring here, so we maybe haven't had quite as strong sun as we will get later in the season. But even now, I can tell, just in the middle of the day, if the kids want to watch TV, they can just pull the blind across, and it basically cuts the glare out almost 100%.
And is it letting the light through whilst cutting the glare out?
Absolutely. So one of the things that Chris and I talked about, and he explained very well, is there is a trade-off between blackout and reflection of light. So I didn't want it to be like pitch dark in here because the roof lantern is the only source of light. So I think what I've chosen really solves the problem of the reflection, but you can still it's not dark in the room when the roof blind is across. It's still a completely functional room.
Yeah, and then you made the investment in the Window Treat blind with this metallized fabric to reflect the heat back through your roof lantern when on sunny days. How did you find the install?
Oh, super easy. So the installers came on one day to measure up. And then once the blinds were ready, I got an email from Chris just confirming the date. They arrived within 10 minutes of when they said they would. Very quick and easy installation. Moved my furniture for me because we have two sofas that are underneath the roof lantern. Kindly also removed the old honeycomb blinds. And then did the installation. Just took a few hours, and then it was up and running.
Well, fantastic, fantastic. So, well, hopefully we hear the feedback in the summer. It'll be, I'm sure it will be making the environment much more comfortable. But the $1 million question, really, Rachel, is: would you recommend Window Treat to friends and family?
Absolutely, I think it is. From as I mentioned, I did look at other options on the internet, but I think when you're going to spend, make quite a significant investment in this type of product, it's worth doing it where you're going to get professional measurement service. You're going to be talked through the options rather than just measuring it yourself and ordering it on the internet, because you just don't want any gaps in the window. And I think one of the things that's been really great about the Window Treat product is it's so flush to the walls and at both ends that you don't have any gaps or any sagging or any wrinkling. So it's definitely, I'm very happy that I've been working with Window Treat on this.
Thank you, Rachel. That's music to my ears.